Are you new to spreadsheets and perhaps you've got some big spreadsheet you've never seen it before, and it looks like this, and it just goes on forever, and you don't know what's going on, and it's not clear? Well, this is for you. I've put together a list of very simple techniques that you can use right away to make your spreadsheet stop looking like this and make it look something a little bit more like this in just a few very quick, very easy, very simple steps. And guess what? You don't need to be a data analyst. You don't need to be some kind of super genius. These are real easy techniques that anybody can know, and they're going to help you make sense of your spreadsheets. So let's get into it. We're going to do 10 very quick things. This will take 5 minutes, so stick around. Number one, locking rows and columns. This is super easy. And why it's all pirates? Because this is pirate data. Look what we can do. Because at the moment, when we go down, we can't see even what these categories are, right? So at the top, we see that these are actually the categories. These are the names of the columns. So it's got the age at death or pirate name. And we've got a list of names and the name of the ship and the name of the important stuff. But even when we get down here or out here somewhere, we don't see what it is and we don't know what's going on. So we've got a bunch of names, but maybe I forgot if this is where they were born or where they died or some other kind of information. So a very easy, very simple, quick way to make that stick. So all you do in Google Sheets, you go up here and drag it down. And now what's going to happen, no matter where we go, we can see the headline. So we can see that this belongs to Fear Factor, this belongs to Secret Island Location, this column is the favorite sea shanty, this one is the name of the flag, and so on and so forth. We can also do the same with a column and just drag it out like this, like this, and now we can always see which pirate we're talking about. No matter which row, okay, we know we're talking about Captain Misson, and this one is talking about Captain Bracken. There we go. Lock your columns, folks, and your rows. Next one, we've got another super simple, super quick, bold and center your headings. So again, we've got these rows up here and now we're stuck in place, so we're not going to lose it, but we can just make it very simple. Clicking bold up here, making it in the center, and then we can see a little bit more clearly. We can also add a background to that, just to make it stand out even more. Next one, we want to resize the columns and rows so that everything is clear, because look what's going on over here. All the columns and rows are different sizes. If you zoom out, you can take a look at it. So we've got this age of death column, that's basically empty space because nobody's going to be billions or trillions of years old. And then we've got other ones where we can't even see what's going on because they don't have enough space. So how can we fix that? Well, let's go in, let's just zoom a bit closer. First of all, you can manually resize the column by clicking up here until you get this arrow and just dragging it across to make it something. So you can go through and manually change a column. You can also, so this is extra, you can select multiple columns, just press the shift, multiple columns, and move them, and it's going to resize all of them to be the same. If I make them all really wide, look, it's going to make them all really wide. If I make them all real skinny, it's going to make them all really narrow like that. What I can also do is get Google Sheets to do the hard lifting for me. Go here in the corner, so I see that little arrow sticking up, and just double click. I'm going to select all the columns, selecting all the columns I want, and now just double clicking. And now what it's done is it's automatically formatted all the columns so that I can see all the words. And maybe I can still go and tidy this up a little bit because I don't know, Fear Factor or say number of crew. I can just change this to crew because that's clear and make that a little bit smaller. So I can still do some adjusting myself, but that's another way of making it nice. Same with the rows. I can select all the rows and just click them like that. And look, they've all popped into a nice, more readable format. So we're already making it much easier. Okay, there we go. Check the number formatting. Now, what does that mean? It means that there might be some weird numbers here. Like this, you've got 35.00 crew. Well, you don't. You've got 35 crew. We can easily change that just so it looks normal, right? So that we're not looking at that and going, what? So very simply, there's these numbers up here, change the decimals, and we can just change it so it looks like a normal number. There might be some other ones in there, like for example, if some numbers are, 0.00354, and this one is 0.12, and this one is, and that looks messy. And we realize we don't need that level of, I guess you can see, we don't need such a level of detail, maybe just to 1 inch, maybe that's enough. So we can just cut that down so everything looks the same, everything looks nice and tidy and easy to read. And the number's still the same in here. The numbers hasn't changed, it just looks nice and clean. Okay, here's another one, again, very simple. You can just do this with a click or two. You can remove the grid lines. Don't have to do it, but it's a good way of making your spreadsheets just look a lot less like a mess, and spreadsheets looking more like nice and tidy. How to do it, up here to view, show grid lines, and you can take that out. So now we've got rows of nice clean data. You've got to think about whether that's going to work for you in your particular case, but anyway, so you know how to do it. It can be very useful. Next one, setting alternate colors. And this is another inbuilt function inside Google Sheets that will just format your whole set of data very nice and easy without you having to do much work at all. So just select everything, click up here, you can select the whole spreadsheet with just one click here, and go Format, Alternating Colors, and then you can set, for example, it's going to change the top line, the header row, and every other line, so you can see clearly what's going to be going on each line. Change the colors here. If you want some, pick your own color scheme, and then you can go ahead and do that, and that's nice and easy. Now that looks bloody terrible, but you don't need to choose those particular colors. Okay, next thing you might want to do is reorder some of the columns. Now, I'm not necessarily suggesting that this is what you should be doing in all your data or your spreadsheets, but again, this is a tool that can come in very handy if you want to, if you find it useful in your particular situation. So it's over here, we've got the pirate name, we've got the ship name, and then the most important thing we need after that is the crew. Or you can just grab that column, just click here at the top, and just drag it over. And there we go, we can see the pirate name, the crew. Maybe the most important thing is, next thing is the secret island there. We want to know that right at the beginning, or something like that. And easily just switch things around so that we can see the most important information in the order that makes sense. You know, maybe somebody has stuck something really important right at the end, and it would make more sense, or vice versa. So that's easy to move around. Who want to know their nickname right after their original name, for example. Okay, for example, another one is highlighting empty rows, or actually that should be empty cells. So what we can do is see maybe there's some random gaps here, and because we've got so much data, and there's only 50 lines, but there's 1,000 or 10,000. We want to easily see where we're missing information. So one easy way might be select everything, go to Format, Conditional Formatting, and then just go where it is empty and make it, for example, a red or a bright red. And then we can go through and see, oh, very, very clear, easy to see where we're missing information. Maybe we need to go back to our source, find that information, fill it in, whatever. Oh, very similar to the other ones, what we're doing with rows and columns. Maybe there's some data in here that we don't need to look at. Maybe it's not important. So we don't want to get rid of that. Maybe somebody will need it later or whatever, but maybe it's really not important to us to know what the parrot name was. And that's just getting in the way and making this harder to look at, harder to understand. So you can click on that column, go here, right click, and then just go down to hide column. Boom, and then it's gone. We want to get it back. You can see that between the G and the I, got these spaces, that means a column hiding in between there. Just click it and that all pops back. Very handy way of just tidying things up, making it easier to digest. On the contrary, maybe you want to add some information in there. So how would we do that? Maybe, okay, here, this is all pirate data, so this has got the treasure chest value, and maybe we want to know how much that would be in New Zealand dollars, New Zealand dollar equivalent. So we can just add that in and go, let's say that is, we need to times it by this figure here, and that will give us the New Zealand dollar equivalent. And for example, we can format that as a dollar amount, take away the 0, so we know exactly how much that's going to be in New Zealand dollars. Now, depending on the way this data is structured, maybe you want to highlight that this is your own information that you've added into it. So it might be good practice to, for example, change the column color so that you've got it clear that this wasn't in the original data set, this is something that I've added to it, something that I've calculated myself. And the next thing you can do, which is kind of a lot of these things all wrapped up into one super easy thing, is convert the whole data set into a table. Now, this is a relatively new function from Google Sheets. In Excel, they've been doing this for a long time, but in Google Sheets, it's pretty new. So let's say we've got all the data here. And maybe it even looks like it used to. It was all just a bit of a mess with no color, no nothing. What we can do is select all the data. So let's say we're up here and then just go Format, and we can go Convert to a table. If you prefer to use a shortcut, you've got Alt-Control-T. And then what it's going to do, it's going to apply a lot of those things that we talked about automatically. So we've got, now it's a nice name, nice columns with different kind of colors on each of them. We can now very, very easily decide, oh, we want to sort by who made the most money, for example. We can sort by that, and we can see straight away that it was Captain Phillips, or who's got the most crew, where you can see and sort by that, or the least crew, the smallest crew is Captain Bartholomew, and go up from there. So this is a really handy way of formatting your data so it looks a lot tidier, but it won't solve all your problems just like that. Just to make it a table, you might still have to deal with some things like resizing and hiding columns that you don't want, or something like that. And one more final bonus one, because you just can't get enough of this stuff, is text wrapping and centering. So there's some very simple formatting things that we can do with text. just to make things look a little bit tidier. So let's say we want the parrot's names to be in the middle of the column. We can just go center, or maybe we want it on the left, so center. We want this one over here to be parrot name in the middle. Maybe we don't want this to all be written across. Maybe we want these columns to be a little bit narrower, but we don't want it to be cut off like this. So here's a really handy thing. You can go in here, click on this one here, text wrapping, and normally it's going to be set on overflow. You can click wrap, and look what happens. Then whenever you've got like this, it splits over onto 2 lines. You'll see what happens here because at the moment it's been cut off. Let's apply wrapping, and we can see it's popped everything down into another line. So we might want to do that to the whole data set, and then we can see. Or maybe we don't want that. Maybe we just want it to cut off like that, everything to be in one line. As I say, these are techniques that you can have a play around with, see what you like, see what looks good in your particular case. But the important thing is to know how to do this stuff. And just like that, you can turn what was a great big mess here into something very nice and tidy and easy to read. You don't need any fancy skills to do it. So if you want this data set and to have it go yourself, I will put the link below and feel free to copy it and have a play around and enjoy making the world a little bit less full of messy spreadsheets. So that was it for me. I'm Benjamin. If you want more tips and tricks and stuff about how to make your spreadsheet in Google Sheets and Google Workspace life a little bit easier, so follow me, hit me up, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.